Loneliness means that we have a feeling of isolation or disconnection from other people. You might feel empty or bored, but could also feel more intense emotions like anxiety or sadness. Usually we're lonely because of social isolation, relationship challenges, or life transitions, so things like moving to a new city or losing a loved one. In this video, you're going to learn about loneliness, including why you might be scared of being alone and why you really shouldn't be. There are so many reasons why people might be scared of being alone, but there are some recurring reasons that come up in different research. Evolutionary instinct. So, evolutionary psychology suggests that we are naturally social beings. This is because we evolved in social groups and relied on cooperation and communication to survive. Because of this, the fear of being alone could be an instinct that's been honed through natural selection over thousands of years. One study in 2015 found that social isolation and loneliness are associated with a greater risk of premature death, with the effect being similar to that of smoking or obesity. There are a number of other studies that talk about how loneliness is associated with physical and mental health issues too. We evolved to prioritize social connections for survival and well-being. This can explain why so many people are scared of being alone. Social conditioning. When we look at society today, being alone seems to go against the norm. We're told that being alone is undesirable, while socializing and forming close relationships are necessary for happiness and fulfillment. If we look at cultural norms, men are often socialized growing up to be independent and self-sufficient, while women are usually socialized to prioritize relationships and caregiving. This creates pressure for men to avoid expressing vulnerability or seeking social support, which can also contribute to feelings of isolation or fear of being alone. According to one study, over 40% of adults report feeling lonely from time to time. The way the media portrays relationships and social interaction can also contribute to the fear of being alone. Think about it. You have a tight group of friends, like in the TV show Friends and Big Bang Theory, and then you look at your life and see that people aren't as reliable and life doesn't seem as fun. It affects the way you feel about yourself. Studies have shown that exposure to romantic comedies and other media that idealize romantic relationships can create unrealistic expectations about love and relationships. That in turn can lead to feelings of inadequacy and loneliness. TV shows and movies often portray relationships in highly romanticized and idealized ways that are usually very, very different from how relationships actually are in real life. Relationships in media are usually portrayed as perfect and ideal, where both partners are always happy and they're fulfilled. Compare that to real-life relationships, which can be messy, complicated, and imperfect. It's important to remember that TV shows and movies are fictional, and they're designed to entertain rather than accurately depict real-life relationships. TV shows shouldn't be relied on as a guide for how to navigate real-life relationships. Fear of abandonment. This fear could be from past experiences where you were neglected or you experienced rejection or loss. This can create a sense of insecurity and mistrust in future relationships. One study found that people who had attachment anxiety, which is a fear of abandonment and a need for reassurance, but these people were more likely to experience negative emotions and social withdrawal. However, people who reported high levels of attachment avoidance were more likely to experience emotional numbness and detachment. It's interesting because this can also be traced back to when you were younger. Children who don't receive consistent and reliable care might develop a sense of mistrust and insecurity, which can carry into adulthood and also manifest as a fear of abandonment. If you have a fear of abandonment, there are some things you can do to overcome it. You need to start by figuring out where the fear comes from so you can better understand it. Was it from a parent leaving or a relationship that didn't work out? Challenge those beliefs and open up to a friend, family member, or therapist so that you can start working through those feelings. A psychotherapist or psychologist might be the best bet here, but you have to be patient with yourself. Watching a YouTube video isn't going to solve a deep-rooted problem. It takes time, effort, and energy in order to make it happen. Boredom. Did you know in one study that up to 63% of people said they felt bored at least once per day? Boredom can contribute to feelings of discomfort or fear around being alone. Another study found that younger generations are usually more susceptible to boredom and discomfort when they're alone. And that's usually because of an increased reliance on technology and social media. Social media use is associated with an increased risk of depression and anxiety, which in turn can lead to greater feelings of loneliness. It's a vicious cycle. We go on social media to try and connect, but are flooded with people's picturesque lives that are not at all the way they actually live their life. But we end up putting ourselves into a comparison trap, feeling like we aren't living up to an idealized potential. Social media platforms are literally designed to keep people scrolling, which leads to a sense of boredom or restlessness when they're not using social media. Spending too much time scrolling can take away from opportunities to explore new hobbies, connect with friends and family in real life, or engage with the world in a more meaningful way. So now that we know some reasons why we might feel like we're alone, let's talk about some of the benefits of being alone when you're actively choosing to do it so you can work on yourself. Improve your relationships. When we're comfortable being alone, we're less likely to rely on people for validation or support. This can lead to healthier and more fulfilling relationships because we're able to set clear boundaries, communicate our needs, and connect with people on a deeper level. You have to learn to be self-reliant, taking care of yourself when you can. When you're at peace and you're okay with who you are, your relationships with people can be so much more than just complaining about life. It makes you appreciate your social connections. Time alone can give you a deeper appreciation for the connections you do have in your life. We can develop gratitude and compassion for other people and strengthen our bonds with family, friends, and our community. Spending time alone can help you recharge and reset, making you more present and engaged when you are with other people. Personal growth and discovery. Spending time alone can be a valuable tool for your own personal growth and taking time to discover yourself. When you're alone, you have the space and the time to reflect on your thoughts, feelings, and experiences, which will help you really get to know yourself. You can take the time to discover what you're interested in, what you value, and what you want your life to look like. By learning to sit with your thoughts and feelings without distraction or judgment, you can develop greater self-awareness, which can help you navigate life's challenges more effectively. While loneliness can be uncomfortable, it's important to remember that it's also normal and it's a necessary part of our experience. If you're taking downtime, make sure you do it with intention. Have something productive in mind that you'll spend your time on instead of just playing games, binge-watching Netflix, or mindlessly scrolling through social media. Take time to write in a journal and reflect on what you were thankful for during the day. Read a book or work on a skill that's going to take you to the next level. Your future self is going to thank you when you do. Share this video with a friend who could use the help, and if you're looking for ways to boost your confidence, you can also check this video out.